Hey guys, in this video we are going to learn how to install node.js on Ubuntu 20.04, and for the bonus in the end we're going to install Yaren as well. There is a three different ways that we can install node.js on your Ubuntu. One of the ways that you can install by the official repository, the Ubuntu repository, which probably is going to be the stable version of the node.js, and in this case you have to install as well. You have to install a part npm. Means that, for example, if you do sudo apt and then get update, so the first you have to update your repositories. Okay, with the command sudo get update, sorry, you update the repositories that you have in your machine. Okay, and then I'm not going to do this because the preferable way that I choose to install a node.js is different, but I just show you in case that you don't want to do a different kind of stuff and you just want to install the version which coming from the Ubuntu repository. So next step is you just type sudo and then apt and then get install and you say node.js. Okay, like I say, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to install by the default repository. That's one of the ways that you can install it, and probably you're going to get the latest stable version or the latest stable version that the Ubuntu repository they have. If you want a different kind of version, but you want to install it as well from the repository, and you want to use the node.js repository, there is a way as well that you add the PPA to your source code, and means that with the curl SL and then HTTP and then the name of the repository, which is a nodesource.com, and then you specify the version of the node. You can add this repository to your machine. Once when you add the repository, again you do the sudo apt update, okay, and with this sudo apt get update and then sudo apt get install node.js, okay, and that's going to install the latest version that you have the repository add to your list. Okay, but the third way, and the way that I'm going to show you here, is going to be with NVM, which is a node version manager. Okay, and why I choose this this way, because you see that in this way you can install a different kind of versions of node.js and having all together in your machine. And in any kind of different situation that you need, for example, let's go and say they work in the project that they're using 2001 whatever, okay, and in your computer you have the latest, which is in the time that I'm making this video, I think there is a 14. Okay, so you don't need to install, uninstall and then install again the 13 version. What you can do is just install the 13 version and switch very quickly from one to the other one. Once when you finish the project with the version 13, then you can go directly to install, then you can go directly to your version 14, and you don't need to install it. Or you need to install once, because in your local list you have just the latest version of node.js, and then you can add any version that you want, and you just can switch between the versions. Okay, I'm showing you what I mean when we start making this happen. But first of all, we have to install the NVM. Okay, so to install the NVM, probably it's a better idea if you go just in Google and you type NVM, and then you say that we need the GitHub page here. That's probably the first page that you're going to find, and here's the script that we want to execute to grab everything. So that's going to be a curl, and I'm 100% sure that in your freshly installed Ubuntu 20.04 you have curl installed already. But if it's a different kind of system that you don't have it, just type sudo apt get install curl, and with this you're good to go. So what we do is that we just pass here, and with the bash that's going to add the executable, as you can see here, is going to add in our bashrc. The bashrc file, it's something that, just a second. The bashrc file, it's where we have where we can add groups and programs. So what we have to do after this is that we have to do sourcing these files. So we say source, and then we say bash rc, press enter, and that's going to refresh the file for us. So it means that in the next login to your system, that's going to be active and working for us. Okay, so let's go to see if we have nvm, and let's going to say that it's going to give us the version. There we go. Well, it's not going to give us the version, but it's say us that it's working, because if it's giving a documentation like this, means that it's working perfectly. Okay, so what we can do now is that first of all, let's go to see the list of all the versions that we can find on the nvm repository. So how we can do this? You can type nvm, and then we say list, and then we say remote. Okay, so with this one, it's going to show you a list of the versions that we have and that we can install it. Like I said, the 14 is the last version in the time that I make this video for you guys. And here you can see that we can install any kind of version. For example, let's go and say that we want to install 13 or whatever. By default, if you type in like nvm install, and you say node, that's an alias to install the latest version. So let's go and say that we want to install the latest version. As you can see, it's going to install the version 14.6.0 for us, and it's going to be done very quickly. And if we say node.v, it's going to say 14.6. okay, that's going to say that a part of the 14.6 we want, for example, to install the 13. So we say nvm install, and then we say a version 13.10.0. okay, let's go and say that we want to install this one as well. Let's go to download it. Now by default we're going to stay in 14, because that's the what we install first. So that's the setup. If you can, for example, if you say node.v, well, actually no, my mistake, we just changed directly for the last version that we install. But if you say nvm, if we say nvm list, that's going to give you a list of the versions that we have installed in our machine. And as you can see that we have as well the version 14.6.0, and that's the version that we just installed before this. So let's go and say that you want to change it. You say nvm and then use, and then you say the version that you want to use. And now if you say node.v, it's a 14.6. okay, and you see that's quite comfortable. I forgot to tell you that if you're installing by default from the repository of the Ubuntu, you have to install the npm as well. And if you can see npm v, we have already installed it, and it's the latest version of the npm. okay, the version that is corresponding on the version that we're going to use. As you can see with the nvm, it's much more easy, and you can switch the version one between another one. Okay, so let's go on in the end install Yaren. For installing the Yaren, let's go to get in the official documentation. We say Yaren install Ubuntu. okay, let's go and say that we want to install a stable version. Here is going to ask you, we want the Ubuntu, and like I said, we want a stable version. And what we're going to do is, the first of all, we're going to add the repository to our machine. So you copy the first time, press enter, and say that everything is okay. Then we're going to copy this alias, which it's going to make for us the list in the repository. So after that we can make sudo update. We can say sudo apt get update. We can update the list because we just, if you can see here, we just add the Yaren pkg, which is the packages, the Yaren packages we added, and then you say sudo apt get install. Actually, we're not installing in this way because we have nvm installed, and you can, as you can see here in the documentation, let's say that if we have installed nvm, we can install the Yaren and that way. So we just copy here, we paste it, enter it, wait for a few seconds, and then we say yarn.v, and we have a 1.22.4, the stable version. Okay guys, thank you to watching the video. I hope so that this kind of videos, they are helpful for those of you that you are new on Ubuntu and you want to install and have the latest version of node.js. And as well, the way that I show you, it's a way that you can easily change the versions if something is wrong and something that is not working correctly with the version that you use. So in this way you can changing very easily, and then you see that you can install Yaren as well pretty easy on Ubuntu 20.04. Thank you guys for watching, and we see you in the next video. Bye.